All right, I've told a couple students that I would do a video for this last week's live lab because they couldn't make class. I shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna. It'll be a Reader's Digest version, so this is shaft opening and the floors for the first and second floor, and then extracting the windows from the first floor or the second floor and the floors all the way up to the 8th floor. So this will be kind of quick. And we're going to start on page 8-9, creating shaft openings. Um, we're going to open up this first floor plan, and we are just going to select, and it talks about turning a bunch of stuff off, but I don't really think we need to, so it's only one page anyway. So right up here in our main architecture tab is our shaft opening option. So we can put shafts in faces of walls, in vertical walls, so the shaft will be horizontal. But in this case, we want a vertical shaft for all of our stairwells and our um, elevator shafts. We'll start with the elevator shaft. We're just going to use a boundary line. We're going to use our rectangle tool. I'll zoom in on this area. And I'm just going to go center column to center column. Okay. I'll come down here, and I'm just going to do inside the wall to inside the wall. Come over here and do basically inside wall to inside wall. When you get them all done, you just hit your check mark and they'll turn blue to tell you that you've got all of the shaft openings in place. So it'll cut through any floor we put in the building. I'll just click out here in space and those will disappear. But they are there, so just trust the computer, I guess. So now we're going to move up to, in the previous video, I talked about putting in the foundation, wall, and footing, which will be required to be done before you turn this in. So we're going to skip up to 8-14, practice 8A, creating floors, and we're going to skip by the basement and go right to the first floor layout. So what we're going to do is turn off some material. This actually starts on page 8-16. It's task number 2. So we're going to select our grid line, hold down the control key and select another grid line and a dimension and an elevation symbol. And that's probably enough. And then just right click. Actually, I don't need my background. Right click and say hide in view by category. Everything will disappear except for the, just click outside here. I'm not sure where those are blue. Anyway, doesn't matter. So now we've hidden those items so that we've got a clear shot. We're going to open up our architecture tab, which is already open. We're going to select floor. It's going to be a generic 12-inch floor. And in this case, we want to pick the walls. So we're going to select pick walls up here, which is already selected. We want it to, we can extend into the core. We want our offset to be 0. I believe, yep. And actually, I'm just going to do a pick line. That'll be easier anyway, and it'll keep the floor on the inside wall. So I'm just going to pick the inside line here. I'll work my way around. Yeah, now this one. When you see that blue ball, I can pull this back up, and I can select this wall, and that automatically connected. And I want to select my radius, which is right there. We'll add a wall to that to connect it. So the thing about these floors is they need to be a continuous shape or they will not work, as some of you have found out. So don't worry about your stairwell. Those are going to automatically close in all by themselves. Whoops. That wall. That wall. I'm going to hit escape. Take that one out. Yeah, I know I don't want to use it. I just want to delete it. Anyway. Oh. Hit escape twice. There we go. Now I can delete it. There. And then what we want to do is just extend these lines. That's already connected. This one's got to come down. If I'd used the center of the wall, it probably would have worked better, but it's okay. Right here, we need to create a little wall to connect this. So I'm just going to take my line tool, left click, come around here, and we want a line from here to this point. Make sure everything else is connected. And we don't worry about these triple lines here. That's just where we started. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to hit the check mark. Now, if there's a problem, I'll get a warning screen. It'll tell me I got an issue. So let's hit this. It says I got a problem. It says lines cannot intersect each other. So let's tell me I got a problem over here. So I'm going to hit show. We already did. Close it. So I'm going to take this wall, just delete it. I'm just going to redraw that one. Just guessing that that might have been the problem. And that was. So now it says, would you like the walls that go up to this floor level to attach to its bottom? You say yes. Can't keep unjoined elements, just say unjoin them. You'll notice now that my floor turns blue except for the stairwell and the elevator shaft. If that looks good, just left click. So we got a floor. How do I check it? Go to my view command, 3D camera. I'll just take a look right in this direction. Do I have a floor? The best way to tell is just to give it a quick rendering in a realistic mode. So there's my floor. Up here I don't have anything, it's just open to the top, so there's nothing in there yet for a floor. But I don't think there should be anyway. Actually there was, so I'm going to take that out. There we go. So you can actually see the floor up above. I must have been messing around with it. Okay, there's my stairwell door, another one up there. So we need to put another floor up here on the second level that'll be copied up to the floors above. And then this one's a little bit more difficult. So we're going to go to our second floor. Here we have it. Don't think I need to take anything off, but this is task number 3. And we're going to take everything out that we don't need. So basically this floor plan will work fine. We're going to use the same generic wall type, or the floor type, 12-inch generic. We want to modify this, so we're going to use the Pick Walls tool. We want to extend to the center wall, which is fine. And there we go. So we want to do all of our masonry walls, not our block walls, or our glass walls. So I'm going to move in here. You can see the center line shows up when we select it. So we're just going to come around. Automatically finds that center point. Skip the glass wall. We're just looking for that nice little center line right there. Most of these will trim themselves. Okay, now we're going to come down here. We're going to do our balconies. Now, there's one issue. I need to turn on. Let's see if I can do it. Need to turn on my underlay. So I'm just going to select this one. Right click. Whoops. Underlay. Hopefully it'll let me do it. Come on. Probably got to be out of this thing. Yes, all right. Fine. There we go. Need to reveal this. Unhide that element. There we go. Okay, back at it. And turn this back off again so it doesn't reveal the hidden stuff. Because I need this line right here is actually a balcony, so when you're in the upper floors you can look down into the lobby below. So we'll go back to our floor. Everything should still be the same. We're going to pick wall by center. Yeah. So we're just going to select all the way around. Don't want to go too fast because then I'll make mistakes. So we got that. Now we're going to change this from pick walls to pick line. And we're going to pick this line and this line. I'll extend that one down in a minute. I want to pick my center line right there. That'll work. And then we're going to draw a line connecting this point to this point. And we want to hit escape, select this line and bring it down until it intersects. We'll just take a look around. So far so good. Now, on this second floor, these balconies are actually cantilevered out over the floor, so they're actually an extension of the floor. So we need to select all of these lines by just picking the line all the way around. And there. One more. Forgot to put that door in. I'm going to do that before I leave here. Okay. So now, hit our modify tool. We're going to take each of these vertical lines and bring it down until it intersects the wall line, the purple wall line. I think if you're a fisherman, you call it fuchsia. This is something you can do while you are watching the Red Sox if you're so inclined, or whatever else TV floats your boat. I can't have it on because it makes too much noise. All right, so we got these. Now we're going to take our cut tool, the split element tool. Looks like a little X-Acto knife. I'm going to let it find this endpoint to this endpoint. We're going to do that all the way down. What this is doing is dividing this line up into line segments that can be deleted. Okay, hit our modify or hit your escape tool, and then you can come in and just delete these line segments so that we again have this continuous line shape all the way around. Okay, now that looks a little strange right there, but I'm gonna think it's just that little double line. So let's take a shot and see how we did. Lines cannot intersect each other. Right here, I missed something, so continue. Anytime it turns yellow, so I forgot to delete this line. Thought I did. Now let's try it again. Ooh, it worked. Yes. And yes. So our floor is there. Didn't turn blue, but it is there. You can see when I select it, there's my floor. So now what we need to do is copy this stuff to the upper floors. Now I don't want to blow your computer up, so we're going to keep it fairly simple. And the only thing we're going to move up or copy up is the floors on the second floor, the windows down here, and the outside doors up here. So let's turn, we'll hide this thing again because we don't need that. And we are going to select, use our selection tool and select our floor. Hold down the control key, select just the doors. Oh shoot, you know what? I need to put that door in there. So what kind is it? There it is. Architecture, place door, there it is. It doesn't take too long. There we go. So now we can come back here. Select the floor, hold down the control key, select all of our doors all the way down. I'm going to zoom in here because these windows are kind of touchy. I don't want to select an outside wall. And you don't want to select annotation. So we've got the floor, the outside doors, and the outside windows. This is the easy part. We got the difficult part. We're going to come up here and say copy to clipboard. Our paste highlights, we're going to drop this down and say align to selected levels. And we want this to be aligned to level 3, 4, oops, 3, hold down your control key, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hit OK. Your computer will spin and hum and squawk and scream. You can see that it's 50%. Now it's done. So now we want to take a look at it from the outside. We'll go to our 3D view. Give it a second. Now we can see that our windows are all on every floor. We can see our floor lines in here. And if we flip it around, we can see our door with our balconies on the back side, the dark side. So that worked fine. Okay. Next week's lab, we're going to be putting the roof on. Pretty simple object. You can see I've already got my foundation down here on the bottom. So that's something, if you don't have it done, you should get that done before you finish this up. So now we're going to put this out. So a couple things. We're going to show the south elevation and the east elevation. So I'm going to go to my elevations, which are right here, and I'll bring up my east elevation first. You can see that my lines are out here a long ways, and I need to shorten these up just because I don't have a whole lot of room to deal with on this sheet of paper. So I'm going to pull these in fairly tight. And you'll notice they all came because they're all locked together. I'm going to bring this one in. Select it. There we go. You want to see that hollow ball on there basically. Bring them into about there so that the lettering is outside but it's still readable. Come down here to the bottom and you'll notice how this basement and the footing are kind of overlapping. Select the line. You'll see this little squiggly show up. Left click on that. And now we can pull this down, or you can pull it out or in, and then pull this over. We'll pull this in here. And you can just, we don't want to change it, but we can move things around. And, ooh, I didn't want to do that. There we go. So now it's separate. Okay, that one looks good. We're going to leave this one just rendered as a, what is it? Hidden? Looks like it. All right, so now we're going to go to our south elevation. We don't have our things, our elevations or our column lines. So we need to turn on our reveal hidden items, select everything, and then just right click and say unhide in view elements. And then turn this off. Come on. Why are they still on? Unhide by category. Oh, I probably said by elements, but I should have done it. Unhide by category. And I think the only other thing were the columns themselves, which can't be seen except for right there. I get a messed up foundation wall for some reason. I'll fix that later. So this, you make sure your foundation wall is good, and at least I can select my columns. Say unhide in view category. All right. So now I can say, okay, that's fine. I know a couple other people had problems with this height to the wall. I'm sure some setting I had on there, but I'll fix it later. So anyway, now we got this south elevation. Over on this side, these are pretty tight. I just need to bring these out just a little bit, maybe to here. So my text is outside. Again, down here at the bottom, we have a little issue with our, and we want to bring that. I don't know why that won't let me. There it goes. All right. Very good. All right, so now I can see my elevation, and on this one I want it to be realistic. Okay, so now we're going to need to make a sheet. And I've got A102 and A101. Those are my floor plans. I haven't named them, but I should have. So this will be sheet new. So just right click and say new sheet, and use my title block. Say OK. A103, and we're going to rename this A103, and we're going to call it South East Elevations. Say OK. And we're going to drag our south elevation over and keep it right close to the edge there, because you may have to even bring it back just a little bit. That's probably close enough. And we'll take our east elevation, bring that over here, and lock it in as tight as we can. And I need to go just a bit more. About right there. Yep, just so it's none of your text is overlying. Okay, so now it's a little weird, but if I select this, just this line on the bottom, this is our title line, and put it directly underneath the center, it brings this tail way over here. But if I select the entire reference, it gives me this blue circle that I can drag back. And now all that does is tells me which elevation it is. I can zoom in. Tells me that's my south elevation, and it's 1/8 inch equals a foot. So we need to do the same thing on this one. This one, I'll select the item first and shorten up the tail, unselect it, and then if I just select that individual piece, I can bring it over and line it up here on the bottom. I'm going to zoom in. We're going to double click on the author, moi. Everything else pretty much stays the same because it already tells us, you know, what the file is, north-south elevation. We could probably put that in here somewhere, but I'll just leave it for now. One rendered, one not. When I go back and fix that foundation wall, everything will show up automatically here. If you can line these up on the bottom, that would be a little better. I'm not sure if I can get that line. A little better. Good deal. So we got a little line over here that's hanging out. So we're going to go back to our south elevation, take care of these little issues. Just select it. You can bring that ball right back so it lines up with the others. When we go back to our floor plan, and then finally when you're done, everything looks good, you're going to right click, oops, not right click, you're going to go up here to R, you're going to say export, you're going to do a DWF, and you're going to do a next, and this is assignment 3, so we'll just call it C. Junkins assignment 3, and you should have a place on your blackboard that you can upload this to once it's done printing. Of course, the bigger the file, the longer it takes, so it's being a little. And there it is. If I want to see what that print looks like myself, because I do have the Revit viewer, I'll just go to that file. How many times have I told you guys? Always remember where you're putting stuff, right? I should be able to say exactly. Revit exercises in CA 101 2015. I knew that. Of course, I've got a bunch of CIE 101 2015 folders here. It's finding the right one. I know you probably saw me go by it, right? There it is. Assignment 3, DWFX. Wow, 15 megabytes. That ought to drive Eric crazy. Mostly because it takes a little bit long to open up the file, so we may do the last couple as JPEGs or PDFs or something of that nature. So there's our file. Except for my foundation wall, it is looking good. I should be able to go to my home screen. Oops. Tools. Resources. Oh, there it is. So we want to just kind of look at how nice it is. We can zoom in, we can zoom out, we can pan and look things over. Brick looks good. Oh yeah. Okay. And that is it. I will let you go on that one. That was my Reader's Digest version of this week's lab, and I will be producing some more fast and furious videos to finish up the lab. If you missed it, we have one more lab next week. This is the 16th of April, so next week is our last live labs. The week after, we have a Monday open lab for anybody that wants to come in and get some extra help. Because we won't have any lab on Wednesday because of main day. I will, however, be producing 2 more videos, one for an exterior presentation view and the other for an interior presentation view where we're going to be putting furniture on the inside. Next week's live lab will include putting the roof on and doing a site plan outside the building so that we can do a parking lot, start putting some vehicles and some trees in, and then working on putting that exterior finish on there so that we can get a nice presentational drawing ready. And that is it for tonight. Thanks.